Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Mars and Barnsy. I hope everybody's doing okay. Um, I've got another interesting video for you today guys, and it's based on the same video I did a month or so ago, which is the light tone lobe at the base of a valley in Cydonia. That's the official title of the image. And I showed you a couple of anomalies, especially this one with the Inca-like sculpture, looking at these, these symmetrical square buildings, the L-shaped platforms and that. And I thought that was highly anomalous. And I did say I found some others in the southern part of the image. Well, I've been studying this image now for quite a while, and I've always been very suspicious of it, mainly because of its colour. It's very, it's got a very light, bright cast on it, and obviously the explanation maybe for that would be ice, frost and carbon dioxide frost, whatever, or ice, whatever. And they would most probably explain the lightness of the image, in those terms. I did download the colour one of it, but I wasn't very impressed. It was just basically a strip coming down the centre, and it was awful. It was really awful. Like, so I've just kept to this black and white image. But as you can see, it's very washed out, very bright, and there's not much contrast at all in the image, which unfortunately makes it very difficult to describe any anomalies or anything that looks unusual. But that's what I do. I go into these in depth, and if I see an image like this on just a quick glance at it, and you would think, well, it's not very interesting, there's nothing in the image, and then just walk on by. And I think that's what the likes of the space agencies want us to do, really. Just not take too much of an interest in it and just go our merry way. But the likes of these images are just gold mines, honestly, absolute gold mines. This was the location of the anomalies that I showed you last time, and there's that much here, right, that I'll most probably have to do a third video on it. I know it's amazing, isn't it? When you look at it like this, you think to yourself, well, what anomalies are here? What can you see? There's nothing to see. But I think there's tons of stuff. Obviously, a lot of it's going to be subjective. I look at certain things and I maybe see something different from what you might see. But I try to get as much evidence in the image brought forward as possible. It can still all be dismissed, but I think I've shown that much evidence on these images over the last couple of years that I think if even only 1% of what I'm showing you is correct, it means that history has got to be rewritten. It really does. I'm not saying just because I'm looking at these images. Plenty of other people are doing great work on these things, but if just 1% of what I'm describing is correct, then we've got a major problem, haven't we, with what we're being told? And images like this don't help, because it's very difficult to bring out what's actually here. And when you, like I say, when you look at it, it doesn't look as if there's anything here. But I'm just going to show you one or two anomalies which I think are worth debating and worth analysing. Okay, in my humble opinion, for what it's worth, I think these are highly interesting. Now, one of the first things that I noticed in this, what really caught my eye was this. Okay, but you know, uh, that caught my eye, right, and made me want to look at the rest of the image. But the other thing that caught my eye initially was this area here. Now, I think that Mars, the cultures that lived on Mars, I think it was plural because I think it was multiple cultures, but the cultures that lived on Mars terraformed the entire surface. Okay, they loved building on a massive scale, and they loved depicting human faces that we wouldn't recognise as human. Animals, both, you know, recognisable animals and animals that we wouldn't recognise. And, you know, they built big, really big, okay? And so when I have a look, when I see certain things, it just, for me, I think because I've been looking at these for so long, they just stand out a mile away, because I just think to myself, well, that doesn't look natural. When I look at things, I just go on my first gut instinct, and then I'll delve into the picture and see what else crops up. And 9 times out of 10, there's all sorts of anomalies cropping up in these images. And this here is what took my attention when I was looking at this, because when I see this, I see a sculpture, and I see what might be a reptile or a snake. And if you'd have a look at it very carefully, right, there's the head there, there's the upper jaw, and there's the lower jaw, right, and there's a cavity here with little structures in, not quite sure what they are. And then there's like blocks here, all along here, there's like blocks, okay, in the wall. Now, so I'm looking at the head, there's the eye there, and I'm looking at it thinking, well, to me, I suppose subjectively, it looks like the head of a reptile or a snake or something like that. And then when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, it's coherent, it's logical, because what these have done, whoever lived here, I've thought, I've altered a natural feature and turned it into something that was of high symbolic importance to them for some reason, which we can conjecture about. And I think what the people who lived here did was turned this cliff, if you like, into the form of a snake or a reptile of some sort. And have a look at it. That's the impression that I get when I'm looking at this. There's the head. The head comes up there, and then upper jaw, lower jaw. It comes back, and what they've done. This is a cliff, right? This is a cliff, and I think they've designed and altered parts of it to resemble an animal. Okay, there's the tail. There's the tail, and there's the undulating body of the snake or reptile, whatever it might happen to be. Okay, because this is high here. This is high ground. This is the cliff. Okay, and it narrows there. See this area here, it narrows there, and it narrows there for a reason. And I'm gonna show you exactly. There's something really interesting there. And then it comes round here. The body comes round, and we have the tail here. So that was the first thing that I thought was highly anomalous. And if they've built this here, by the way, guys, they built it. They wouldn't have built this for no reason at all. They've mostly built it as a symbol, maybe for protection or to the gods or something like that. Now, when you come down the cliff here, you've got this like flat mesa, like feature, and then there's another cliff here. See this white, like the the white cliffs of Dover, if you like. This is a cliff as well. Okay, so high ground, then you've got the cliff and it comes down. This is flat, like a mesa, if you like, and then we've got this cliff here, and with the body of the snake, which is I think that's what it is. If it was just on its own, now that would be highly subjective, but it's not the only anomaly, is it? I've already showed you a few weeks ago another anomaly, and I'm going to show you more to back up what I'm saying is most probably true. Because when you look at this cliff for an example, we see carvings and sculptures all along this cliff. Okay, and this is most probably the reason why this is so highly contrasted out. Not because it's pure white snow or it's very the ground's very light. I don't think that for one second. It's this colour because there's so many anomalies in this image. It's untrue, and there's no way that they could have published an image with true resolution, because it just give the game away straight away. They couldn't do it with this image because there's that many anomalies in it, and the resolution on this image, if you remember from last time, it was something like 25 to 29 centimeters, which is like 2 foot 11 inches to 3 feet. Okay, so it's really high resolution. But so what we're going to do now is going to have a look at this cliff face. I think we'll look at that first, and then we'll go over here. But we'll look at the cliff face first. Okay, let's. This is what we want. This one. Okay, so just taking a long image of the cliff so we can work with it a little tiny bit better. Now, I'm going to point out the features that I can see now. So I haven't done nothing to this image. Okay, this is the actual image as published by NASA, by the MRO, the HIRISE camera. Okay, at roughly 3 feet per pixel. Okay, now when I look at this, I can see a few things straight away sticking out. Now if you look down this area here, I can see at least 3 sculptured faces, and I don't think for one second that is pareidolia or imagination, and I'll show you them in better resolution in a minute. But there's one here, there's another there, and there's one a little bit higher up here, and I can't really make out what's here. Okay, and these sculptured faces have pathways to them. See, there's one there, there's another, and there's another one here which you have to come round on that one and up. But there's 3 faces there. Okay, well just bear with me, guys. I'll show you them in a bit more clarity in a minute. There's something here. There's like a circular, let's call it a crater for the time being. I don't think it's a natural crater at all. But, and in it, I think there's like a humanoid face, a human face, but it's being blurred out. But you can still see features of the face beneath the blurring. Okay, and then if you come further along, there's a couple of pipes that are coming here. Okay, so they come out of here and then they come down into this cavity here, and then if we keep going west, we've got something else that looks very, very humanoid, and it reminds me of the one I showed you a couple of weeks ago. You know, that looked like the Inca with the helmets on, and that it looks very similar to that. But this one looks more like I think it's called a moai. You know, like the statues on Easter Island. But it just seems to be carved into the wall, because you can see the top of the cliff there. And it's like a 90-degree angle, and it shoots off here, and then this is down one side. This is like a little cavity in the cliff, which goes inwards, and it seems to be down one side. This is the straight edge of the cliff, and then it comes in to the legs, the body, and there's the face. It seems to be made up out of structures, but you can't see it. Okay, now because it's so contrasted out, the only way of really bringing it up is, well, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, this is what you've got to do. You've got to lower the brightness. Okay, so you've got to get that brightness right down. Okay, and then bring up the contrast. Okay, and then you can mess about with the brightness again. Bring the brightness up, contrast, brightness. Now I'll just leave it at that level for a minute. Okay, and then I'll show you these again. Okay, now can you see those faces better? There's one there, you can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Okay, that's one. Here's the other one. You can see both eyes, you see a nose, and then that black area is the mouth. And then there's a pathway here that goes into the mouth. And then if you just come up a little tiny bit here, you can see another one where you can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the chin. And there's a pathway here that comes up. Can you see them? If I just go in, so there's 1, 2, 3, at least 3 carved faces there. And then when we come along, we've got this circular feature here, and you can see where it's being blurred, completely blurred, but I think there's a face behind that, looking down. You can see the eyes, nose, and mouth, and they've blurred it because it was most probably very noticeable as a human face. And I don't know what this strange, it's just like got a very strange shape to it. Maybe there's a square entrance there, see that? I don't know. Okay, and if we carry on going west, there's 2 tubes or pipes that come out of here, go down, and then into this cavity here. I know it's very blurred, but this is the best we've got to work with. And don't forget, you could hardly see this before. Now at least we're seeing a little tiny bit of it because I've reduced that bright cast off it. But it does look like 2 tubes. Like this one comes along, there's some kind of support structure over that tube, and then it goes down. This one is broken here. This one is broken, there's a gap there, but it still comes along here and then into the cavity. Can you see that? Okay, and if we just carry on, then we come to our moai like feature. Just let me see if I can bring that out a little tiny bit better for you. I'll do my best. It's very hard, but yeah, that's most probably as good as I'm getting. But what I've done them in over contrast, and I'll show you them. So we've got the moai sort of sculpture here into the side of the cliff. We've got the pipes coming down. We've got this, what looks like a human face that's being blurred, and maybe an entrance at the bottom there. I'm not too sure. And then we've got these sculptured faces, which it's not pareidolia. It's not pareidolia. They're actual faces. They are faces. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'll just come on to that. Now, so that's here. Now you wouldn't think, would you, looking at that image, just having a glance at it, that all them anomalies were there. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't imagine it, would you? And that's what they want. Okay. Now if I just go to this again, and like I say, I've over contrasted some of these, maybe a bit too much really, but it's just so that you can see them in a slightly different contrast, if you like. And if you just get your eyes in, you can see where I'm coming from with these, with the pathways going into the mouth, because the mouths are usually entrances. Okay, and there's stuff here now that looks symmetrical. You know, like this thing here, like a key. That's like a keyhole, isn't it? And there's all square features, square platforms. I mean, that looks like a two-layered structure, but it's very difficult to see them because of the high contrast. That is the moai, just right above the arrow. It's brought the face out a little bit more, hasn't it? And it seems to be made out of structures. Bit closer there. Can you see that? Okay, so that was those particular anomalies in the south of the image. And what I wanted to show you as well is this, because just a little bit further down from the sculptured faces in the cliff is another face. Okay, now it's a little bit, it's like those other faces, they're difficult to see, but it is here if you're very careful. Now this is untouched, right? This is the original image, okay, and I'll point it out first before I do anything. Now if you look here, as if it's buried in the ground, there's a human face. It's got two eyes, it's got a nose, it's got a moustache, and it's got a beard, and it's partially buried in the ground. And it doesn't half remind me of some of the images I found in Cydonia. And if you've been following my other work with Cydonia work, part of it is about an individual that was buried in the ground, and it just so happens that in this other part of Cydonia I've found a few more humanoid faces that look as if they're buried. And this here, on this particular image, this is the original, it doesn't look like it, but I'm sure this is a hand here with the thumb and the hand with structures in it. So you know, he's buried and he's reaching out here with his hand. But just let me show you maybe a better image than that. I don't know whether that you can see it better on that, guys. You know, I've messed about with the contrast and the brightness, and I can see it, you know, and I'm hoping that you guys can see it, that there's a human face there. He's got a moustache, he's got a beard, he's got his two eyes, and what looked like a natural feature before, now, in my humble opinion, looks like a hand with the thumb and the palm, and in the palm there are structures, and it's as if his body's underneath the ground and he's trying to reach out for help, or some kind of symbolism. And I'm you know, it's very similar to what I've found in the other Cydonia images, but it's fascinating. It's absolutely brilliant. But you would hardly see this in the original images. So let me, you know, just going to get the original. So if you just looked at this very quick glance, you wouldn't see it, would you? You wouldn't have a clue. You know, there it is there. Just let me see if I can do it for you there, just to give you a bit of an idea of. So if we lower it, and then can you see it? See the face there, and then the hands here. Like I say, it looks a little bit more natural there, doesn't it? But when you do mess about with the contrast and the brightness, its true features come out. Okay, and if you look here, there's full. This is full of structures, absolutely full of them. If we really push the contrast up on it, look at these here, guys. Can you see these here? They are structures. You see them? That's a structure there, but it's like blackened, as if it's been burnt or damaged or whatever. But there's like a round space around it, and it's like an obelisk or something like that. And you know, there's tubes, pipes, there's 90-degree angles, there's walls. You know, look at this here next to our face here. You know, they're just fast. They are structures. There's no two ways about it. And there's these pathways here going into like cavities. And look at this. Let me get the burn through. That looks like, I don't know. Is it pipes? Some kind of pipes or something like that. I don't know. See here. Well, it's just full of anomalies, guys. It really is. You know, and when you look at the shapes of these, there's all sorts of like subtle shapes. I can see like triangles here, no triangular features, like there triangle, there triangle, there triangle, and there's like triangular shapes all over it. Okay. What I want to show you now is we need to go back to our main image, go to Adobe. Okay, now when you look at this, right, this area here, I'm going to focus on this area now. It just looks one-dimensional, doesn't it? Two-dimensional. It looks very flat. You know, you would think this was all level, wouldn't you? All this was a level area, but it's not. Okay. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye, I'm telling you. So if you come back, look at that. You know, this is interesting, guys. I'm hoping you'll be able to see it because it's a little bit subtle, but I'm hoping that maybe that might do it. See, when you go in, it just pixelates, doesn't it? That's why I have to take the image in Windows, in Windows Magnifier. Right, so what I've done for that particular area that I was just trying to bring up there, I took a close-up image in Windows Magnifier here, okay, and I'm going to show you what I found there. It's very, very interesting. Okay, now one of the things I found was that this is a valley. Okay, it's not flat the way they would like us to think. It's not flat at all. It's like a valley, and it looks to me as if there's eroded, destroyed structures all over this. You know, this looks like a structure here. I can see crisscross. It looks like support structures or beams, and they're crisscrossing all over it, all over this here in this valley, because I think there's eroded, destroyed structures all across here. Okay, and if you come down here, there's like a passageway here, right, and blocking the entrance to the valley is this thing here. It's as if somebody has got a block and dropped it into the top of the passageway to protect it or defend it or something. I don't know. You know what I mean. But you can see it's like square. It's square, and then it's got structures on top of it, but it's hard to say what the structures are. And I think there's an entrance here. See that? I think that's an entrance, and this is a pathway that comes up. So you could most probably go through this square object, if you whatever it is. I don't know. Is it concrete? Is it like a dam? I don't know. And then you could go through it and up the passageway into these structures. They're like these eroded buildings and that. And if you look here, there's like a building, a massive building, but just the ruins of it. You see the walls there, and then there's a corner. This is like a massive structure with the corner still intact here. Can you see that? That's what I think that is. But we're looking at the interior of a destroyed building, and this here, see this comes up. Now I don't know whether it's a standalone object or it reaches over to this area here, not like a bridge or something like that. But you could come up here and you could go underneath this and then round and then up the passageway. Can you see that? You can come up here, this slope, underneath this, on top of this cube thing here, and then up the passageway into these buildings. Okay, so when you saw the original image, it was just looked one dimensional, then a two dimensional. It didn't look anything, it just looked flat. But it's there's that much in it. And if you look here at the end, this is the end of our cliff. You know the cliff that I showed you the sculptures on? There's a wall there. See that? That's a wall with a 90-degree angle, and it comes in. It's like a wall with a big entrance here, and very eroded, destroyed even. But it is some kind of wall. You see that? And this thing here, I mean, God knows what this is. But can you see it? Here, like, it's got, the front of it is bulbous, like roundish, got like a roundish shape. Then it narrows here. See the way it narrows? And then it comes out here. Now, it's hard to say what's on the other side, because obviously this is destroyed. Whatever this is, what we're looking at is like a frame, if you like, with support structures on it. But you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all in a perfect straight line. So whatever this is, it's some kind of eroded, destroyed structure, and it's absolutely massive. It's over 500 feet long. Okay, that is over 500. I think it's more like 600 feet. Okay, very, very rough, measurements. But I'm going to be honest with you, right? When I first saw it, you know what it looked like, guys? It looks like, even now when I look at it, it looks like some kind of crashed vehicle of some sort, like a, I don't know, like a giant plane, some kind of massive giant aircraft or something like that. That's what it looks like. You've got the front, it's narrow, and then it comes out like a wing here. But it's that big, it's that massive. I'm thinking it's more like a building, like the eroded structure of a building. There's like a square area here, see that? And then you've got, it's all very heavily, badly eroded, whatever it is. But take your pick. I don't think that's natural, is it? I don't think so. It looks like a vehicle of some kind of massive, absolutely huge aircraft, if it is an aircraft, or is it a structure? I don't know, but I think it's really, really highly provocative. Okay, but I'll leave it in your capable hands, guys, as to what you think that could be. I just think it's really highly anomalous. But as you can see, there's a hell of a lot going on here. They just want us to think that there's absolutely nothing here. You know what I'm saying? If we go back to the original, let me come on to that. Okay. So that particular area I've just shown you is this area here. Can you see that? So that's the valley. That's the valley. There's that square object like blocking the passageway, and whatever it is, the craft or the structure is here. And this is what we're working with, guys. When I see this is how subtle these are. But sometimes I can see them for what they are, and I can see that wasn't two-dimensional, wasn't flat. It was a valley with structures in it. This was a structure. This big square block thing was a structure. This building here is so obvious. These I wasn't even going to mention them, but they look like buried faces again. These here, but if you want to look at them in more detail, you can do. There's that many sculptures and anomalous items here. I could just go on forever on it, but I want to sort of finish this video now, because it's gone on a little bit too long. I'm trying to keep my videos a little bit shorter. But I think what I've shown you is some of the other more obvious anomalies in my view. Okay, they could be something, they could be nothing. I just think that we're looking at a culture here, and this is absolutely full of structures. I'm telling you, it's full of them. There's this area here full of sculptures in the ground. This area, like I say, you've got to mess about with the contrast and everything. This area, I'm going to do this next week for you guys. It's brilliant. This area and this area as well. Okay, but I think what I'll do is I'll leave it at this for the time being. Like I say, because I don't want it to go on too long. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I pointed out some very interesting anomalies, and I've tried to do the minimum I can to the image and still bring out the anomalies a little bit for you, but it's so difficult because it's so washed out. But I hope you've seen what I can see. Alright then, guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and keep an eye out for I suppose I'll have to call it part 3, won't I, for this one. Some of the stuff here is very interesting, and I hope you join me when I analyse it next video. See you later, guys. Take it easy. Bye bye.